Welcome back to
Mom Makes That
Times 2. Today is our first day of cutting followed by
apple pie. And then of course applesauce.
Mix it out. And apple butter. But before we begin all that, we are going to try to separate these apples out by size, roughly small, medium-ish, and large. Then we'll wash them and then start on the apple rings. Stay tuned. It's time to do the pie filling.
Oh yeah!
Last night, my daughter Zoe helped me go ahead and core and slice the apples with our handy dancer slicer thing. Get a good quality one. It makes a difference. I have to peel off the skin myself because the part that's supposed to take off the skin of the device does not work well. Anyway, so I'm so excited because my jar is sealed with my apple slices. So now I'm just going to clean them off, remove the lids, and put them downstairs in my pantry for storage. And keep watching. So the reason it's a good idea to go ahead and take the rims off your jars is then you really know if you have a good seal or not. If you leave the rim on and it happens to pop, then the rim can actually seal it back up for a time, but you've already allowed it to be contaminated. So it's better to go ahead and store your jars without the rim on. Right, Zoe?
Yeah.
Right. Last night, I also decided that I didn't want to just make 4 quarts of pie filling. I wanted more. So I decided to turn my stock pot into another water bath canner, using the rims of lids as kind of the basket. So therefore, I had to put the pie filling in something else. So I used my slow cookers and crock pot and have them stewing all night long, and they are ready to go as soon as the water's up to temperature. How we feel right now. So the recipe that I'm using for the pie filling is from this really cool book. The problem is, in the recipe, it only talks about canning 1 quart. I need at least 4. So I did some quick math, which still didn't pan out because I wanted 8 quarts. I ended up getting 5. It was about a peck of apples, roughly 10 pounds of apples to get 4 in here, 1 in here. I have just enough left over to make my pie filling for today. Now you will notice that this is very watery. In the store-bought version, you will notice on the ingredients that there's cornstarch in it. I don't want to put cornstarch in my jars, so when it's time to actually make your pie filling, add any kind of thickener you want, cornstarch, flour, whatever else you want to use, and that will make it nice and custardy. You'll have all the flavor there. It doesn't compromise your apples or your pie, and it'll be just fine. So the reason that I don't use cornstarch is just because I'm trying not to use it as often. I'm sure that you could use cornstarch to can with. I've read and heard that if you're gonna can for less than 30 minutes, you don't want to use cornstarch because it could keep the food from heating all the way through, which would not be a good thing. The recommendations would be like using clear gel, or I just don't use
anything until it was time to actually make my pie filling for the pie today, in which case I just added my grass-fed beef gelatin that I love to use to make more custard jelly type stuff. Yeah.
It is day 3 of canning, and today we are going to be canning applesauce, which I've been cooking in the slow cooker all night, and it's pretty much to the point where I probably could just mash them and have a little bit more of a chunkier applesauce, or I do have a food mill that I may end up using to get it nice and smooth. I put my pints in here because the rims of the jars that I used yesterday in the bottom rusted. I decided to try the towel method, then I can say I've tried both methods, and we'll see how that works. I was able to get 5 pints in my stock pot. And here I have just 4 quarts that I'll use for the applesauce as well. I want to save any other quarts that I have for my tomato sauce later on. I decided to go ahead and use the food mill, and I'm going to use this middle medium for the applesauce. I just got a small one from Amazon, but it does the job. So you just put the disc in. Now I can't get it back out, but the dome side is up. You match it in with the notches. Then you slide in this into the hole, and then you push down and pop this in. I can do it on camera. There we go. So it's like that. That secures it in. Then you can take that around. So I'll just add in the sauce, spray it into this pot, and then any juice I have left over, I might thicken it depending how much applesauce we get, and then use whatever's left over for the apple butter for tomorrow. I'm going to use this slotted spoon so that I leave more juice behind because I want mostly just apple. So just put it in there and then, watch the whole thing fall in because I'm going to need 2 hands. All right, jump back in it. My girls are doing their schoolwork right now, so I'm using the aid of my gooseneck stand. But I decided to go ahead and use my masher to try to get even more juice out because I really just want to focus on getting apples for the applesauce. I'm sure that if I used a smaller pot for the food mill, it would stay on better. I wouldn't necessarily need 2 hands, but I need a big pot because of the amount of apples that I am using. I decided to go ahead and remove my big pot and just use my smaller crock pot. That way, once I'm done making the applesauce, I can keep it warm in the holder. I also put on rubber gloves as my friend suggested because I'm tired of burning my fingers because I am so clumsy. It's working out very well. Out of the 10-pound bag of apples that I slow cooked last night for applesauce, I got 5 pints. So I'm going to have to get some more apples. All right, here we go. So over here we have the less spiced applesauce, more spiced applesauce, actual pie filling that turned out right, the pie filling that did not turn out right, so we're using it as apple crisp filling, or chunky applesauce, not sure. And then of course we have the spiced apple rings as well, and then over here will be my apple butter. The last jar. I finally got my apple butter.
Apple. Welcome back. Find my poison back. And poison Snow White. Ooh, this one looks yummy. Wrong person.
What we're going to start with first is going through and organizing each apple by size.
Oh, no, don't touch it with your
much as-
foot.